Hold the Mayo. It's time for Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Find out what's being served with Mike, Defo and Lubie, the only show that covers food, sports, and the proper maintenance of your car. And now, a man who had the distinction of having an entire health clinic named in his honor, Mike Mayo.
I want the frim fram sauce with the awesome bay with shafafa on the side.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the Lunchbox, Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. We had a little, I guess, unintentional hiatus yesterday, or as Defo would say, a scratch at the gate, a vet scratch at the gate. Jeff Defo, DeForest, Mike Lubie, Lubitz. I guess the first pressing question of the day today, Lubie, is how is Shirley doing? And, I guess that's why we had to do a last-minute scrap, because in South Florida, you never know what's going to happen. And yesterday it was a little bit of a auto mishap. Is that right?
Well, that saying, I don't know if people elsewhere have this saying, but we have it down here. When someone's like, oh, you're worried about someone about to drive, you're like, oh, I'm not worried about you. It's everyone else.
Everyone else. That's what I tell my daughter now that she's a 17-year-old full driving. I said, you always got to assume the other guy is nuts and is going to do something completely insane. And she's learned that. She is now scared to go on I-95 because she said, Dad, somebody's going 35 miles an hour in the left lane, and then there's people that are just weaving like it's the giant slalom course at the Olympics, the everything else. And I was like, yep, welcome to South Florida, and always be a defensive driver. But so what happens? She's fine. All right. So then the question is this, because I heard that she not just went to an urgent care center affiliated with a local hospital network, which I always rave about the one that I have, but she went to a specialty clinic where they also have like a check dispenser right away for your $10,000 personal injury. And where are you going next? Is it going to be the Maldives or where Michelle just went, St. Lucia? I assume that money is going to be going towards the next travel, right?
I want to take her to the hospital, but I guess if you go through the hospital, because the whole point of this is it wasn't her fault. So you go through the other driver's insurance, car insurance.
And how do you know this? Was there a cop on hand that made that determination?
This woman, the woman was a veteran, which is what scared Shirley the most. She's like, okay, this is what we have to do. We have to go here.
She was by the book.
Yeah, well, no, she's done this repeatedly.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, it's horrible.
And she still has insurance. That's a miracle.
Insurance, and the cop came and not only gave her fault, but assessed a ticket, which they don't really do that much anymore, but give her a ticket. And so because of that, she didn't want, I would have gone to the hospital. But I guess if you go to the hospital, they go off of your own health insurance, and there's deductibles, and it's never cheap to go to the hospital. No. So, and it was
just like it's never cheap to ride in an ambulance. And I noticed she didn't want to call 911 because you actually have to pay like $900 or $1,000 now if you don't, not like Defo and not septuagenarian, because then it goes to Medicare, the ambulance ride. But for people like us, every ambulance ride is a separate charge, and you think, oh, it's a city service, it's through the fire department. They bill you up the wazoo for that, right?
They pay a lot. So we were not doing ambulances. I was free. If I had to go, I could have gone, but she was okay enough to get home, and then we put her car on ice, so I have to call insurance. And I took her to, I just want to go to urgent care. We were just going to urgent care. We weren't trying to do anything about the accident, just trying to make sure she's okay without having to deal with the hospital. But we went to one that was for car accidents, and I just thought that meant they'd be efficient. I didn't realize that it's a pill mill
factory
for ambulance chasers. And like there's only 4 of us there, and I'm watching her when she goes up to check in, and I see the lady mouth, so who's your attorney? Who's your attorney? And then she's like, so when was your accident? I'm like, she didn't even talk about the accident. They just know. And everyone there had been in a freaking car accident. There's dude talking about his arms numb. This other woman. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like,
well, we do hope that she's okay. And as Andy is chiming in now, like sometimes these, things that are dealing with neck, spine, or even head injuries don't reveal themselves for a few days. And we do hope that everything's okay. And 1-800-411-PAIN will be the newest sponsor of the Lunchbox.
If they want to sponsor us, we'll go to them.
No, I don't know. I mean, look, the whole car insurance racket in Florida, the legislature, the changes, PIP, the personal injury protection, and what you need and what you don't have, and all these, again, there are a lot of, I'd say, I don't want to call them unsavory characters, but there are unsavory characters that game the system. which is why all our auto insurance rates are sky high down here. But the thing is, the most important thing is that hopefully she's healthy.
She's fine.
And is she wearing a neck brace? Because that would really impede eating for me. I would hate to have a neck brace on.
She went there and they sent her to a therapist, physical therapist and chiropractor who said she needed to go there 3 days a week for the next 2 months. And
Well, they really want her money. There won't be any of that 10 grand left after they get done with her. Forget
So
it.
no, she's not following their lead, but they checked her out. They gave her an ice pack. She's a little sore, but she's moving fine. She's working. Like she's okay.
We hope she's all right. And we, again, everybody in the audience, apologies for missing the show yesterday. But sometimes, real life intrudes. And Defo, how was your weekend? And how's your toe? You have another follow. This is the Mike Mayo Medical Hour with the Mayo Clinic. Yeah. I should go after the Mayo Clinic as a sponsor. But
well, you would have taken all of the tests yesterday, I would think, Mike Mayo, and probably been coming back to this place for the next 6 months. I'm picturing the auto emergency care clinic as kind of like the polling place on election day, or outside you have like a zillion signs of personal injury attorneys. All trying to attract your business and tell you, and extol their virtues as to how you're going to get the most money. And then, of course, the place had to be like the Morgan & Morgan building because they're the biggest, of course, and the best. I'll tell you a funny story about a guy with a neck brace, though. And you may know this guy, having been in the newspaper business. Do you remember a reporter for the New York Times? He mostly wrote about boxing named Mike Katz.
Yeah, I know Mike Katz. And he had a big neck brace all the time.
Had a neck brace on forever, right? Like this guy was wearing a neck brace for 20 years. And I was thinking, this guy's attorney must really suck because he can't resolve this case no matter what. And nobody ever knew.
Either that or his chiropractor really sucked. One or the others.
Nobody knew what was wrong with the guy, really. And he never really talked about it, Mike Katz. He was kind of sort of a curmudgeon-like guy. But, it wasn't like he wouldn't talk to people. So anyway, one day, he gets in a screaming fight with Bob Arum, the promoter, over some ridiculous thing. He asked Arum a question, and Arum gave him the usual blow-off answer, and, it was total BS. Everybody knew it. And so he challenges Arum, and it looks like they're going to come to blows. And I was interviewing, you may remember this guy from the Boston Globe, a guy named Ron Borges, who was also a big boxer, a real good guy, right?
Yeah, sure.
So Borges and I are sitting like 2 feet away from where this is transpiring. And, there was always a thought about what the hell is really wrong with Mike Katz. And sure enough, this escalates this thing with Arum from screaming to now they're throwing punches and the brace comes off. And then you have Katz like waving his cane at Bob Arum. He also walked with a cane for a long period of time. And
like
it turned out he was fine.
The guy in the wheelchair all of a sudden gets up and starts swinging.
Runs up and goes, I hit a jackpot. And he goes running out of the casino. But, so then that's my recollection.
Well, I always love
long-term neck braces usually
I always love the characters, not just in and around the ring, but like you said, the press corps of the boxing. It was Mike Katz with his neck brace, and then George Kimball of Boston Herald. Did you know George Kimball?
I probably did, but I can't.
All right. Well, his party trick was he had a glass eye, and when he would be drunk at the bar after the fights, he would always pull out the glass eye out. Yeah, and then just pop it down on the bar.
Always attractive.
And say, hey, take this as a tip. It was. Anyway, all right. We're gonna get back to the serious business of food today and all the craziness of Let's Eat. I'm not even gonna get into the death threats today, but that
was a working title for my biography about my talk radio career.
What was
Death
that?
Threat Online 2. and it stems from the idea that you're so desperate to get a call on a radio show, and it sounds like everything's going great and all the lines. Well, we got one line open. Meanwhile, you haven't had a call in 3 weeks. And finally, the guy, the producer, says to you, I got a death threat on line 2. And you say, okay, let's take it. Just to get another voice.
No, I at this point with the Let's Eat South Florida Facebook group or Let's Measure Pizza South Florida, that was one of the things. There's total insanity on everything now. I mean, people are fighting over pretzels, whether they're Philadelphia pretzels or Dutch Amish country pretzels, and there's fights about the size of pizzas, implied promises, and then about tipping 8%, and then altering a credit card. There's so many goofy things on the group in the last day, let alone now you have people that are coming after me because apparently they got their knickers in a bunch because a post was declined, and it turns out I wasn't even the one that declined the post, but I get blamed for it. I feel like at this point 97,000 and growing, it's like I'm Dr. Frankenstein or Frankenstein, however you pronounce it. And I've created this monster, and the monster eventually is going to come and kill me. So
Oh,
that's
yeah, they're
basically
coming
gonna
for
It's
do.
you.
very possible. Or us.
So
I mean, it sounded to me like you weren't
you
going to
do
show
look
up
a
at
little like
Gulfstream.
me.
We're going to
And
get
I
in the
have
crossfire. We're with you every day.
I might have I might be out at Gulfstream this week. I might have
Which
a
one of you
doctor's
is Joe
appointment.
Rose? You're hoping the guy asks. Yeah.
Oh man. So anyway, food wise, we do have a good day coming up. We have Timon Balloo is the now James Beard Award semifinalist nominated chef from the Catherine restaurant. We love him from Fort Lauderdale, and he's been nominated before for his previous restaurants and work in Miami-Dade County, but this is quite a good it was a good week for all the local chefs with the James Beard Award nominations announced last week. We're going to talk with Timon about that in a few moments, but before that, I think we have to
Yeah,
just
need a winner.
talk a little bit about the contest. I mean, we've got to finish up some business from last week's Gulfstream 10 Palm Sunday Brunch Buffet contest, Defo. And you knew the name of the restaurant. Remember, I was
Frank and
talking
Dino's. Yeah.
Frank and Dino's, and a bunch of people got it. I mean, it wasn't our most heavily answered question, but we
It's
had
now
more than
called Il Luigi to something, that location or whatever.
well, that one, the original location he opened Deerfield is Luigi di Roma. Then he moved to
so that was also associated with the guy that owned Frank and Dino's? Because
No.
Luigi di Roma is the name of the restaurant where he was located there on Federal Highway.
That's
in,
what I'm talking
Deerfield.
about.
Yeah.
It's New
Okay.
When
Orleans.
Frank and Dino, okay, Carlo,
They moved to
Carlo Vac-
Boca too, right?
let me give the whole story. Okay, Frank and Dino's was co-founded by Carlo Vaccarezza, who is a thoroughbred horse trainer, owner, and breeder. He's also a restaurateur from back in New York. And I did some research, and I don't want to do too much research because I don't know. It's the same name, but I don't know if it's the same person that was in some news stories there. Along with some other people, but the bottom line is Carlo is a character. He's a good guy. He's a good horse trainer too, and he opened Frank and Dino's restaurant in Deerfield Beach, and then he moved it to Boca to a restaurant that used to be Merlino's, which was Joey Merlino was a mob guy from Philly, and actually his name was on the marquee, even though he couldn't technically own the joint. And then Merlino, he got pinched again, and he went away, and that restaurant went away. And then Frank and Dino's came in and took over that spot. But then COVID came along and shut it down. But now Carlo has revived the whole Frank and Dino's concept up in Lexington, Kentucky, of all places, horse country, because he's got some breeding farms up there. And he reopened Frank and Dino's in 2021 in Lexington, Kentucky. Anyway, a bunch of the people.
What did you think of Frank and Dino's? Did you eat there? Because I ate there a few times. I thought it was good, very good. Was it my favorite? Maybe not, but it was good, very good. A little pricey with comparison to some of the other places you could have gone.
I never went to the Deerfield location. I went into the Boca location.
That's the only place I went was the Deerfield.
And there was so many Italian restaurants in that neighborhood. It's right around the corner from the Louis Bossi's there, down on the corner of Palmetto Park Road and Federal, and then also the Casa d'Angelo has his Boca Raton outpost.
Oh wow, that's a lot of competition for an
There's
Italian
a lot
restaurant.
of So it was it was a tough,
but it was a classy joint, and the horse racing crowd actually assembled there.
He had a piano bar there. Yeah, he had a piano bar.
Pictures of Little Mike, one of my favorite horses.
Yeah, so Frank and Dino's, that was the answer to the restaurant component, and then it turns out the big $3 million Pegasus Cup, a field of 12, and nobody who entered the contest who got Frank and Dino's was able to come up with the winning horse, Art Collector.
You know what the problem was though, because you had. Well, you had to enter this in advance, and if you saw Art Collector when he was about to go to the gate on the racetrack, I remember thinking to myself, I almost texted you. I said, "Look at this 6-horse, man."
Should have texted me. I would have gotten a late bet.
Tap dancing his way to the gate, and it looked fantastic. I don't know that I've seen a horse look any better, and that's in a good field of horses, which you're accustomed to that level of stakes horses making a nice presentation on the track. It's not like you got some rat out there.
Should have texted me because I had the other two parts of the trifecta,
including
that
that's right.
45-1 shot that I gave out. That was the Mike Smith horse. And who's next? Stiletto Boy.
Yeah.
I loved him, and I had a dream the night before that he was going to finish third, and I should have just done an all 11 trifecta, and I would have been rewarded with 1,100.
Oh, always a
bucks.
million ways to hit the race after the race.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I
Could have
had
back
the
wheel
dream.
defunded.
I
Yeah.
had the dream on Friday night going into the race Saturday that 11 finished third,
Wow.
and
You
I
should
didn't
have played
act
it.
on it. I didn't act on it
But
because
that art collector looked great on the track and won for
well,
fun.
thanks for telling me. Hey, did you
Yeah.
realize Rihanna is going to be doing the halftime
Yes,
show?
you
I know. I was curious who was going to be on this year. Yeah.
And Tom Brady is he 46?
He's got to be 46 by now. Yeah. They didn't talk about that as much this year because it looked more like he was finished.
All right. Anyway,
All right. So
nobody
who's in the shake? Who's in the
nobody
shake?
selected the winning horse art collector, but according to the rules that you can find on Mike Mayo's Lunchbox Facebook.
Is this a
page-
new rule that was just
No,
instituted?
No,
or-
he's
okay.
good.
we did this once before. There was
right.
one other race this year. Nobody hit the winner, and we had to go to the second place, the runner-up, because we didn't want to not give away any contest,
Right.
brunch passes. So we ended up we go to the second place horse.
Okay.
In this case, it was Defunded, and which a lot of people are screaming that again, but we're not going to get into that. Defunded was the Bob Baffert horse. He finished second, and 5 people selected
good.
Defunded
Very much,
in
to be
Yeah, nice.
respected.
so right now in our Dolphins hat, which again the Dolphins are expert at finishing.
Now, is that guy that was threatening you one of the remaining entries?
No, he
said
did
he
not.
entered the contest.
He picked Cyberknife, and now that scares me
Oh,
too.
there you go. That was probably why he
Oh, no, it's been you.
would have won the contest if it wasn't for you, Mayo.
Well, we're
No.
not even gonna. I shouldn't even talk. All right, I'm clicking.
You can't pick a name out of there, or you sure
I'm
you put him
picking.
in?
I got one.
There
I
you go.
got
All
one.
right.
I got all 5 of the winners.
Is that because it was a dolphin hat that you
I'm
struggled
not
with?
supposed to be biased, but there was one guy who I was rooting for because his whole thing was he said he was picking Defunded because that was the status of his online betting accounts. I thought that was a good line.
Well, maybe he
and
won.
I hope,
Did he win?
I hope he's the winner, but if not, it was good.
chance.
He is.
Ah, wow.
Kenneth Rosenblum.
Oh, that's a good.
Oh,
good
he's our
friend of
guy.
mine. Yeah,
No,
yeah,
that
he's
guy's
a
good.
great
That
guy.
guy's
I'm
good.
so
Kenneth
glad he won.
Rosenblum, congratulations.
Nice
You
job.
are the winner of this week's 10 Palms Brunch Contest.
That guy's a
And
good
I-
horse player, by the way.
I
He
even
knows his horses.
I even wrote his little quote
Yeah.
on the slip, which was Defunded in honor of the status of my online
Oh,
betting
I'm happy
accounts.
for him. I really am.
I'm very happy when a witty horse player comes up a winner. And I hope, even if your betting accounts are defunded, at least you're going to have a full belly after going to the 10 Palm Sunday brunch buffet at Gulfstream. I will be getting in touch by email, Kenneth, and then you get to choose your dates. Any Sunday between now and the end of April, you will have the fabulous package for two brunch buffet vouchers that comes with 1 mimosa included, along with tax and gratuity covered, but you could always feel free to tip more, certainly higher than 8%, which some people on Let's Eat South Florida are actually proud of and make an issue. Well, I'm not proud of, but it led to a thing, and we'll talk about that later. That was a crazy. It's one of those things. I approved it at 10 o'clock last night, and I know I'm like the Roy Scheider and Jaws, just throwing the chum into the water, and next thing you know, there's 500 comments before like 1 a.m. People were just in a tizzy.
You
about this whole-
cheapskate. Yes.
Oh, well, he posted about he didn't have a good experience at Greek Isle Taverna. And
Well, I
that
thought I saw that. I didn't really read too many of
he
those
felt
comments.
that he was just the server was rude and didn't do a good job. And he felt like he just didn't tip well. He left less than a 10%. He left an 8% tip, $6 and change on an $83. He made it an even $90.
No, that's
one
ugliness.
slip.
Yeah,
But then he
bad.
goes back and he checks his credit card account activity, and it
Yeah.
shows up as $100. So somebody
Oh,
had changed.
change it to 16.
They changed it to 16 from 6 and made it an even 100 instead of even 90. So it begged these two questions of like this, just set off this whole just frenzy of half the people calling out this guy for being a cheapskate and being a horrible tipper, and why you should treat a server like that. Even if the server maybe treated you poorly, you should always tip the 15% or whatever the number is.
Is
And
15
then
even a valid number anymore?
I don't know. Everybody seems to
Seems
make
low.
it 20.
Everyone really does.
Yeah, but if you get bad service, you know what I do? Well, I don't get bad service because I'm Mike Mayo. And
Well, you would if you showed up in that guy that hates you.
No,
Yeah, that's
but then half the people were also going off about just the alleged the misappropriation, just basically changing a slip. A restaurant can't do that. You could call that
Well, you would
fraud,
think that would be highly illegal, and
yeah. So
punishable offense.
it set off a frenzy. But meanwhile, let's go on to happier subjects. Again, we have now on the line with us back on the Lunchbox. He's a friend of the show. We've been into the Catherine to see what it's all about, and apparently it's about a lot, because it is ringing up all the accolades, and not just locally, but now with the National James Beard Foundation. We welcome back to the Lunchbox James Beard Award semifinalist for Best Chef in the South, Timon Balloo. How are you today, Timon?
Great. Thank you so much for having me on the show. Hi, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Well, it's always good to have you back. We had a number of chats in the last week, and I know that this means a lot, obviously for you personally and your lovely wife Marissa, because this is a labor of love. But you've had this award. I mean, you've had this recognition before in the past in Miami because you're a talented chef. But what does it mean for you to do it here in Broward County, which sometimes gets overlooked in these types of awards?
Well, it's always an honor. First of all, the stature of the award and the foundation and what it represents to our culinary industry. It is basically the Oscars and the Emmys of our industry. It's almost equivalent to that, and the Olympics. You put it there, it's there. The organization is definitely just revered. It's so focused and centered around the culinary community, food policies, food change, chefs inclusion, what the world of cuisine is moving towards. So it's definitely the platform that chefs kind of measure and look up to. So this is our third accolade or acknowledgement. The first one was over 10 years ago when I opened Sugarcane, and we received a nom for Best New Restaurant.
Yep.
And I mean that was euphoric, but also 10 years ago. So as any of us professionals, just pushing and driving and still trying to accomplish so much in all of our industries and careers, it's rewarding for such a high entity to recognize that you are still doing it at such a high level. My second nomination came almost 3 years ago when I left Sugarcane to open my namesake Balloo restaurant, which was definitely a very strong statement piece, not only to the industry and the economics of what quote unquote corporate restaurants look like, but just from a statement of a chef artist in expression, for me to finally have confidence in my culture and my technique and my skill to express that restaurant. And so we got a nom there, and unfortunately we were shuttered due to COVID. So that was kind of like a slap in the face. And so you kind of wonder, honestly, we weren't trying to push for any award. We just humbly put our head down, and this namesake restaurant, now the Catherine, located on Broward Boulevard in Fort Lauderdale, was a testament of just finally coming home. If people don't know, and we're a new restaurant, we've actually resided in West Broward for over 20 plus years. I relocated from the San Francisco Bay Area to Lauderhill. I graduated Piper High School.
Oh, wow.
That's, University in 44th.
Yeah.
And my wife, Marissa Catherine, is a graduate of Western High School off of, 595 and 136.
Davy.
So as Davy, and we met at Sawgrass Mills Mall as teenagers, but a lot of teenagers do. They go to the mall. And, while chasing stature and just craftsmanship, it brought us all over the world and all over the country, residing and living multiple times in like New York and Las Vegas and abroad in Brussels, Belgium, and in London. And, all while still having, grandma and our parents here in West Broward. And for a long time, we never thought we'd open a restaurant here. But with the growth of the South Florida community, the beautiful diversity of cultures and, you know, cool neighborhoods emerging and the demand, people are becoming more cultural and globally aware that, you know, honestly, also just for convenience, I don't think we all always want to feel like we have to, you know, whether it's make the drive to Miami. We love Miami, and I hope to open soon back in Miami. Miami's always been good to me. But, you know, I live in West Broward, and I'm older now. I have 2 kids, and on a weeknight, it's not so convenient to make the drive. So we wanted to open a restaurant that still evoked everything that we loved when we traveled to the
you guys have nailed it. You walk in there, it's that cozy little spot that has a soul. You could feel again, and you see the menu, and you see the influences of, you know, your heritage is coming through, and it's, you know, not a big corporate place like you find on Las Olas. It's a cozy spot that has maybe 40 seats with an eclectic menu that's ever changing based on seasonality and ingredients, and that's why I love him and I love eating there. And congratulations, and I want to just shower you with more praise. But I can't remember, and I know that Lubie had a question for you, but I can't remember. You know, I've been down here 30 something years. I only covered the food scene for like the last 8 of them, but I don't know the last time that a chef working at a Broward restaurant was recognized by the Beard Foundation. I know that chefs like Mark Militello, who first made their bones in Miami-Dade, would come up and open restaurants here, and they've won awards, you know, James Beard Awards. But as far as like actively being in Broward and winning for a Broward restaurants, I don't know, and I'm not a historian. I don't know if anybody else knows out there, but congratulations to you, because Broward, you know, we do get overlooked a lot, and like you mentioned, we are a melting pot. And you know, I'm going to use the word even if Governor DeSantis doesn't want to say, but we are woke here culinarily. We do embrace different cultures and diversity. And I'm off my soapbox now, but I just want to say congratulations again. And Lubie, you had a question for.
Well, I just want to say, I didn't even realize I'm a Piper alum as well. So we have another tremendous.
Oh, so cool.
Yeah, we have a bunch of great Piper alums. Cool that Timon is one of those. I find it interesting because and when I travel a lot too, when we refer to South Florida, we really refer to Miami and South Florida as being synonymous. But I always found that weird because I remember growing up, like Fort Lauderdale wasn't nothing. We weren't potato, you know, like it was a big deal when I was growing up. So I was always curious, when will Fort Lauderdale get their due? And it feels like, thanks to you, what Visit Lauderdale is doing, you guys are really carrying our banner. Was it important for you to show what Broward was and what Broward could be when it comes to the restaurant scene?
I mean, it's huge. I mean, I'm proving that by, you know, financially putting my money where my mouth is and starting an endeavor here. You know, I see there's great potential. I agree with you 1,000%. I think that just, you know, when people say I'm going to New York, you don't say you're going to Long Island. You just say, you know, people just think those type of things. That when they say South Florida, they just always think Miami. Even when your friends come visit, they just assume you live by South Beach, you know? But, you know, I think this is a great neighborhood. It's a great city. There's so much on the rise, so much potential. And by all means, you guys know better than me. I'm super honored, and I think the feeling is mutual. The respect I have for you guys and pioneering the food culture and food scene. Mike and I just literally said, hey, we should go eat together, because I know there's so many places that he will teach me about this neighborhood that I'm unaware of. And I think that's really the moral of the story here. Whether it's, you know, we have to populate our city with cool stuff to do that the city and the community continues to love and ambassador and pioneer it. And that will eventually put us on that same type of platform. When people recognize this region, there's more than just one place they identify it with. And that's just because we'll have cool things to do. I know everyone's coming up to see the performing arts, and I think there's a show running right now, Tina, right? And I hear so many people with great accessibility and as well as like the Bright Line. I always hear people saying how cool and convenient it is, not just to go south on the Bright Line, but to take the Bright Line north to Fort Lauderdale and come up for a quote unquote
and West Palm Beach too.
You know?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And speaking of which,
I think it's just time.
Yeah, it is time. Defo, I'm going to let you get in a question, but first, I just did want to, just mention that, it wasn't just Timon and the Catherine restaurant, which by the way is located at 723 East Broward Boulevard. It's right there downtown at that big intersection of basically Broward Boulevard and US 1. And I think the tunnel is back open again, so people can actually get around downtown, which is good. But they were one of 14 South Florida restaurants, chefs honored by the Beards, and a lot of them were in national categories, which is great to see. But I just want to kind of give a shout out to the other 5. Actually, multiple. There was some couples of brothers and sisters, but those that were also nominated in semifinalists in the best chef in the South, besides Tim and Balloo at the Catherine in Fort Lauderdale, was Jeremy and Cynthia Bierman at Oceano Kitchen in Lantana, and they're a great couple. And also we've got the Fernando, Nando, and Valerie Chang, the Chang Gang, who are just doing great stuff down at Itame. That's that Nikkei, the combination Peruvian Japanese restaurant and down in the Design District of Miami. Rick Mace at Tropical Smokehouse in West Palm Beach. Pushkar Marath, who's my man at Stage in Palm Beach Gardens, and Pushkar also has a lot of Broward roots. He started off here at the great Marriott at the Harbor Beach with Dean James Max and that whole crew, and then of course there's also Lojo Washington at Queen of Sheba restaurant, West Palm Beach, which I didn't even realize reopened. It's an Ethiopian joint and only one of 2 Ethiopian restaurants, full scale restaurants in a area like South Florida of 6 million, which is astounding. But she got recognized for reopening Queen of Sheba in West Palm Beach, and all kudos to them. And Timon, well, I'll let Defo finally get a word in edgewise. Did you have a question for the chef?
Oh yeah, no, curious about a couple of things. Well, I mean, an actor or actress wins the Oscar, and all of a sudden they're offered all kinds of things. Their business picks up exponentially. Does the Beard Award have that kind of impact on a restaurant? And secondly, having been friends for a long time with Chef Oliver Saucy at the Cafe Max. And socialize with him. If he's coming to a party, everybody's asking each other, is he going to bring the caviar pie? So is there a dish that when you're socializing and you're bringing something to the table, maybe everybody's bringing a little something? I mean, what are the expectations from a James Beard Award-winning chef?
Oh, wow. That's a great question, huh?
Because if he doesn't bring the caviar pie, everybody's like, "Oh, okay, Oliver. We'll talk to you later." I mean, it's that kind of thing.
They're all mad.
Yeah, I don't know what they expect from me. I think they just expect me to cook. And,
Yeah.
if I'm saying
Something fancy, though, they want.
everyone just says, "Okay,
Yeah.
then we don't have to cook. At least there's a chef coming." I mean, I don't think there's one dish. I try to honestly, people that know me, outside of the restaurant, as hard as I work, I play harder. So I'm usually the one bringing the alcohol, to be honest. And usually that doesn't piss anybody off.
Right.
So it's a win-win around everyone around the table per se. And honestly, I enjoy when I don't have to cook, and I don't care what my friends make. I'm just happy that they're cooking and I'm not, so it's a simple trade-off. I'll bring the wine, you take care of the food, and it's chef's night off. So,
beautiful.
Anybody who's with that is a friend of mine.
That's smart.
Well, it sounds I'm always up for anybody who brings wine, and then I don't care about if you could even bring Skyline chili, which I know is Defoe's favorite. Have you ever tried Skyline chili? I asked this of all the big chefs, and it drives Defoe crazy. Are you thumbs up or thumbs down of Skyline chili?
So I'm going to be completely honest with you. I passed by it for years
right by
on
Piper.
University Boulevard.
Right by Piper.
Yep, and I never tried it, but I knew it. And then it wasn't
Smart
until
man.
maybe 5.
That's going to be one of our stops, Timon. We're going to go on our food tour up and down.
I want to take Mayo and Timon.
I think it's better as a Jiffy Lube, that location. And as far as taste goes.
5 years ago, I just tried it though.
Oh, you
I
did?
just finally bit the bullet and went in. Yeah.
And
it
what?
was a total. It was a total new thing to me because I wasn't aware of this technique or style. I guess it's like a Cincinnati style.
Yeah, it's called
chili,
Cincinnati
right?
chili. It's like a Greek spaghetti with like a Greek meat sauce. It's totally a misnomer to call it chili, and it's really good before colonoscopies because it'll clean out your insides. So.
You can say it's horrible, chef. I mean, it's
He
okay.
hasn't said if he
Just
likes
Well,
Mayo's the only defender here on the show.
I didn't
I
say
love
that.
it.
Yeah, I didn't answer that. I just confessed that we went in and we tried it after many
Yeah.
years, and I will say it was interesting.
Yeah. The transition
It's-
was a natural one to a lubrication place. For an automobile.
It's one of
Yeah.
my guilty pleasures. I love it as a drunk food or a hangover food, and that's all I'm going to say about that. Let's get on to other things. So, a lot is made about these beard awards, and obviously the Michelin Guide now that it's in Miami, if not all the way up here yet. Number one, is too much made of all these things. Number two, is that only what people who haven't won yet say?
I don't think too much is made of these quote unquote these things. I think they were some of the original grading structures and tiers. I remember as a young chef growing up in hotels, we were it was mandatory to try to get a mobile AAA or a 5-star 5 diamond. Yeah, the mobile guide, and those were like some of the requirements that this anchored the success of your unit. And before all of this Yelp platforms and so forth, these were the accredited authorities, as well as you. I have to note and pause and say how fond and my appreciation for you for your years of writing as a food critic at the Sun Sentinel. Chefs and restaurateurs would wait to read the paper, and it would be the first thing you run and do to see what restaurants were reviewed. So you guys were authorities, and as well as like Michelin for many years in Europe before it came to the States, and the James Beard acknowledging all throughout the North America. These are these formidable, credited institutions that can make and break your restaurant. All of them are, they review positively, not like from a newspaper standpoint of reviews, but these are just, industry acknowledgments. And
right.
They're saying that these people are making a statement. They're doing it at a very high level, and whatever they receive, whether you win a Beard Award or you're accredited in the Michelin sector as a Beat Gourmand or 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, it is definitely defining that you are an industry leader.
Right.
You perform at a very high level, and it's worth someone traveling to go see what you're doing and giving you an opportunity.
I appreciate that response. And I would think that Beard, because it's, committees of people that are in the industry and peers, that it would mean a lot. And a goal. It's a recognizing things just beyond the kitchen, like charitable work and community outreach. And you've done all that with the No Kid Hungry program, which is tremendous. Michelin, I find a little bit more mysterious. You don't know who the reviewers are. I'm not one of them. They've never asked me because probably I eat at Skyline Chili. But just you don't know who they are, and it seems pay to play in that they're only going to places where now they're getting paid by the local tourism boards to come in and offset expenses. So I don't know. Does that matter to you, or you just think either one? Again, it's just highlighting fine dining and good cuisine, and so anything that kind of heightens awareness is a good thing.
Yes, you finished with my position. Anything that heightens awareness is a good thing. I don't like to dive too much into the politics of it, only because I do believe everything is a little bit misconstrued and it can be perceived either way. I've spent so much of my life and dedication and sacrifices of my friends and family to this industry that I do believe any awareness is important just for our culture, and that goes back to the growth of this city, and the growth of Miami. For us to have the amount of nominees in this region, that's a testament, because as you say, as long as it's been since Broward or Fort Lauderdale received a nominee, I remember the days when there was really just quote unquote the Mango Gang of South Florida bringing national attention to this region. Like you said, the Mark Militellos, the Alan Susser, the Norman Van Aken, Oliver Stock.
And they're all great. They're all great. But now more people are getting recognized.
But that was a period of time when South Florida had probably one of its largest culinary booms, and then it it deflated for a while, and then you saw the beautiful Michelle Bernstein's and Michael Schwartz has come back and reinvigorate it. And now there's a whole slew of young generation of chefs doing exciting things culinary-wise, but just economically bringing culture to their communities and their cities. And I think ultimately the importance is that our patrons, the people that reside here, support those businesses, patron those businesses, and then our communities will grow culturally.
Yeah, it's going to keep growing. And again, I'm going to give props now, like you mentioned, some of the I guess we call them legends now, but they have also been recognized this year on the national level from South Florida. People like Michelle Bernstein for her Café La Trova, which is recognized as outstanding bar, and also Michael Schwartz, Michael's Genuine Kitchen. All these years later, he's been nominated as outstanding chef in a national category. And then my friend, I assume yours too, Mike Beltran, who's just absolutely killing it at Ariat in Coconut Grove, also recognized, and that's in line for outstanding restaurant. He's just, the way that restaurant, his program has grown there, it's just incredible, where he's embraced his Cuban heritage and also, but incorporating it with the fine dining and the French technique and the duck press and all these things. It's I could go on just extolling the virtues of our growing food scene. And but I'm going to let Lubie chime in now, because I think he has an ask. Is that true?
Not exactly an ask. I'm going to try and show Mayo how to do it, because he was totally egregious in what he did. Sliding. We've heard the term sliding into the DMs. I've never heard someone sliding into the DMs for their ex-wife's birthday, but
50th. It was a big birthday, and I got a treat.
It was like clunky. So I'm going to do this, and hopefully it's not clunky, but we'll see. I'm going to be self-indulgent. When we went out there, we went to the Catherine, and the vibe was ridiculous. And it just felt like the kind of place I'm really ecstatic that we're having down here in Fort Lauderdale. And I've been wanting to get out there. And my wife loves, what's cool about the way you and your wife described what you do is you have favorites that people will come, and then they'll get frustrated because you are very creative and original, and you like doing new things. So you've grown to embrace the things people like, but also you're going to throw some stuff out there every time, which I think is super cool. And my wife's a big fan of that. We haven't been out there yet. It's her birthday this week. I'm trying to figure out what's a good day to go out there, because you guys, I thought you were just a weekday spot.
There's the ask. He's looking to get in there sometime this week. What do you think?
What freebies can you accommodate Lubie with?
Like what's different? Like,
yeah,
with what
good
you
question,
do,
Lubie. Yeah.
Catherine, to be brutally honest, because I know you do a lot of mainstays that people love, but you're also creative with the things you do at the Catherine.
I feel like this is a loaded question, but
in other words, can you throw him an appetizer or two when he brings his wife in?
Listen, first of all, we'd love to have you. And at the end of the day, regardless of the nominations and so forth, we consider ourselves, I call it a new American table. I think this is the way America is eating now. We're so, we are all becoming so cultured and knowledgeable and different flavors. And, you could see kids in middle America wearing a sriracha t-shirt. Sriracha's not so foreign anymore. So we do those little things, but we're a neighborhood restaurant. We want to always be nostalgic for that, with a little bit of elevation, whether it's our, low ABV wines and cocktails, or, our things like a simple clam chowder fry. It's a simple thing of what growing up in the San Francisco Bay Area. I love clam chowder in the sourdough bowl, but Catherine loves fries, and so it was kind of like our version of don't put potatoes in the chowder. I'd rather have French fries to dip it in instead of bread. Some people geek out on that, but people relate to it as, hey, it's kind of like poutine, or hey, it's kind of like mole frites. It's not that far fetched, but it has some similarities that we can all connect with. And couple that in a cool setting, unpretentious environment. I think we can all relate to that. It's still like Fort Lauderdale in the sense where I call, I live in shorts and sandals. That's what I love about living in Broward. It's kind of no fuss, no mess. But I don't want to eat garbage or feel like I'm going to the same type of chain restaurant. I want a message in the story, and I'm excited to see more and more places opening up like that. So I guess the best I can come is.
That's it. You still got the chicken thighs on the menu? Is that a mainstay?
I still have the jerk chicken thighs on the menu. Nice. Chicken thighs are one of my favorite cuts to use. I just love how juicy the thighs are. We do boneless, and we marinate it 24 hours in a beautiful Caribbean jerk marinade, and we grill that and serve it over a kale callaloo. And for people that don't know, callaloo is kind of a version of a creamed spinach, but we don't use cream. We use coconut milk. So everything you love about creamed spinach, which I love from steakhouses, we kind of do our own Caribbean version of it.
Nice.
And we put these beautiful chicken thighs on top of that, and you have this beautiful decadent dish that, you know, everyone knows chicken, everyone kind of knows creamed spinach, but we do our version of it. And I think that's the nuances of what we do at the Catherine that yielded us to be successful. We're just trying to relate to everyone in this modern day, cook some exciting food, and we're happy to be home, and it means the world if our community supports us. And I think it's we're adding to the beauty of Fort Lauderdale and Broward County. And again, the beauty of South Florida. Look at, like you said, Michelin's here. We're being recognized as, you know, one of the top cities in the country and the world, and that's come a long way. And it takes all of us as a community to get there. You know, thank you for everyone's support. Thank you for you guys to preaching the message. And again, all in all, what does the award mean? That we're just humbled and honored.
And Lubie, for your edification, I'm on this incredible thing called the internet right now. And if I look at Resi, Saturday night, 6:45.
I know.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go
no.
online to do it.
Okay.
I'm
I
just
didn't know
curious.
what date and time, but I'm sure
there's a day that he's going to do this or that, because his wife was actually frustrated because people will come in asking for things. And I'll never forget her face when she's like, and he's so creative. But the problem is people love the stuff we do, so they'll come in asking for it. And he just says, no, I'm not doing that today. So I'm like, okay, is there a day? Like, what day? Like, I legitimately was curious.
What I want people to fall in love with is the energy when you are there. Yeah. Listen, you know, I don't know when you grew up, but when I grew up, I couldn't always ask my mom to make something. You had to eat what mom gave you. You know what I mean? And just know it was made with love and for sustenance. And that's kind of like what we embody. You're not coming to a restaurant specifically for a dish. I know that doesn't make total sense. Just know everything is good, and you come for Catherine vibes and our energy, and that's what you're going to come back over and over.
When's the actual birthday, Lubie? I'll put her in the books now, right?
It's Thursday.
Thursday. You want to go in there Friday?
No. I was thinking Friday or Saturday. You know, make it a weekend date night kind of thing.
We'll figure it out. Throw Shirley a piece of cake. She's a lovely woman. All right.
Timon, you're the
all right. Was there anything else, gentlemen, or are we going to let him go? He's a very busy man. You know, he's a James Beard Award nominee. So. No, Timon, it's always a pleasure. Thanks for indulging us in all our nonsense. I hope to get in there soon. I've been meaning to. It's just you're operating on the humane schedule, right? It's Wednesday through Sunday. So you're closed Monday, Tuesday. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're closed Monday, Tuesdays. We're open Wednesday through Saturday, dinner only from 5 to 10. And then Sunday, we just launched brunch.
Oh, wow.
So, with the first of the year, we also launched brunch. So it's really exciting time to come during the daytime hours to get our version of how we view eggs and those decadent, you know, gluttonous type things. And you'll see some secret menu items there, like a hot truffle mortadella sandwich, like my version of a hot bologna, to beautiful shrimp and grits. And
nice.
And
that's newsy. I did not realize that you had the brunch service going. And wait, I'm sorry, I interrupted. So tell me some more things so I could start salivating.
I was like, shrimp and grits. I was like, we may go Sunday.
Well, I mean, we love the quintessential shrimp and grits. We do a Thai style version where it's in a Thai coconut curry over beautiful creamy polenta. I do this beautiful slow braised short rib, braised steak and eggs over some beautiful polenta. I always love our timeless, good old classic burger, 2 double patties with our secret blend, our version of the quintessential, golden arches and that beautiful tangy sauce and house cut fries. And
sounds good.
Listen, keep it simple and do it right. That's all you can do.
Tell you what, I want to see how you view eggs, because I view it now with a calculator and my home equity line of credit, because they're so damn expensive. But I'd be interested to eat one of your egg dishes, and we'll come up with the money somehow. Anyway, we really appreciate your time. It's always a pleasure. We'll have to get in there again soon. I mean, I got to get in there to eat. But maybe we'll do a remote show one of these months coming up soon, and we'll get in there, and hopefully after you've taken home all the hardware and get to the next level. But we'll see. Anyway, it's great to be recognized, and all the chefs down here are just doing some tremendous work, and the James Beard Foundation. It's great to see that they're here. Did you realize, I guess, the president is actually living down here in Wilton Manors now? Did you know that? Have you met the gentleman?
Lucky enough, yeah. I think, we found that out, and we're lucky that South Florida is so good. We're getting
it's better.
Love it, just moving.
If some of the movers and shakers in the industry get off that little island of Manhattan and go about and they see that there's a whole other world that's developing here. All right, Timon.
Florida.
That's it. Yeah, it's all good. All right, we got to go. We got to do some business. We got to get some commercials in. I can't believe we already yapped the whole hour. Thanks again. Say hi to Marissa, and you'll see Lubie and Shirley very soon. I might pop in for a Sunday brunch soon too. So that sounds great. Okay, let's say a couple of words about Tropical Acres. The couple of words is Valentine's Day. Yes. You want to get in there. It's probably filling up on the books. It's a Tuesday night, February 14th, and you want to call for your reservations there because that's how they do it, old school style, with the great hospitality value and service. Call 954-989-2500, 954-989-2500. Tropical Acres. I was in there for happy hour on Friday. It was packed. We had a great bunch of dishes, including the coconut shrimp, the escargot, the little sliders, which my friend loved. They came out juicy and hot, and that good quality ground sirloin. You can't do better than Tropical Acres, both in the bar for happy hour and in the dining room for the regular main meal, starting at 4:30 with the early bird, and then the regular menu at 5:30. Everything there comes with a side dish and a salad. So again, great all-inclusive value. Tropical Acres, 2500 Griffin Road, just west of the airport. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. All right, let's do all the commercials now and get it out of the way. Looking for a great place for steaks, seafood, and more? Go to Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of I-95 and the airport. They've been there a long time, since 1949. That means they're doing something right. You'll get old school hospitality from the Studiali family, along with great value, tremendous service. Of course, you could also go into the bar for happy hour every day, 4 to 6. The early bird special runs from 4:30 to 5:30, and they have great value all night long. Also, a butcher shop that's open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. except Sunday. The dining room is open every day at 4:30 except Sunday. Go to Tropical Acres. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Hey, it's Mike Mayo. When the Brooklyn boy in me wants a good bagel with Nova or some matzo ball soup, homemade knishes, or a great deli pastrami sandwich on rye, you know where I go? Grandpa's Café in Dania Beach. It's been around a long time, an institution, but a little over a year ago, a pair of New Yorkers came in, bought it, and refurbished the place. It's beautiful, and they are now serving great breakfast, brunch, lunch. They've got the omelets. They've got eggs Benedict. They've got all kinds of great baked goods like rugelach. Grandpa's is just off Federal Highway on Southwest 1st Street in Dania Beach. It's open 7 days. Go in there, tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. When I'm looking for some wicked good food for a wicked good lunch, there's only one place to go. That's Wicked Cheesesteaks in Fort Lauderdale. It's at 4824 North Federal Highway, just south of Commercial Boulevard and across from Holy Cross Hospital. My friend Brian there, he will hook you up with some really tasty treats. They've got cheesesteaks, just like the best you can find in Philly, along with lobster rolls, because that's where he's from, Maine originally, and they have wings and pizza and everything you want to have a really good time. Wicked Cheesesteaks, they're open every day but Tuesday. Go in there on a Wednesday. They got buy one, get one on cheesesteaks from 5 to 8 p.m. Check them out online, wickedcheesesteaks.com. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. People come to me and say, Mike, where should I go out to eat? I got guests coming from out of town. Where should we go? Café Seville. That's the answer. 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. It's a Fort Lauderdale perennial. serving the finest in Spanish and continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly, comfortable setting. Joey Esposito and Sally, his better half, they've been running the place for a long time. It's been open since the 1980s. They got great Spanish classics like paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, and all kinds of great seafood dishes. The stuffed veal chop, oh, that's my favorite. Go to Cafe Seville. It's open every day but Sunday at 5 p.m. for dinner. Tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Do you like burgers? Do you like wings? Do you like late night food and sports on big screen TVs and cold beer and friendly vibe and great people? Then you want to check out Shenanigans, 1300 South Federal Highway in Dania Beach. You go to Shenanigans, you get yourself all the good stuff, the fresh fish every day, the black and grilled wings, and of course, the kitchens are open late. Go there, tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent. Like pizza? Who doesn't like pizza? Well, my spot for pizza is the Pizza Spot. It's in that little bit hard to find Riverside Park neighborhood of Fort Lauderdale, but it's totally easy to love. It's at 601 Southwest 12th Avenue, New Haven style a pizza from Wade and Reese. It's a lovely outdoor spot. You could also pick up pies to go at 754-779-7788, 754-779-7788. Again, they're open every day but Monday for lunch and dinner. Some of the best pizza I've ever had. Go to Pizza Spot. They also have subs, salads, and more. Tell them the Gambling Gourmet sent you. If you like seafood in a comfortable setting, outdoors, even keel fish shack at the corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea, that's my spot. It's upscale food in a down-home setting. The chef owners, Dave and Brad, do a terrific job with all the seafood classics that you want. They have the best grilled oysters in town, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, and deli fish specials. They also have weekend brunch Saturday and Sunday. They have deli happy hour 4 to 7, and they also have other weekly specials like mussels on Monday and oysters on Tuesday. Go to Even Keel Fish Shack and tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. Well, we're back on the Lunchbox. I don't know if we have any more business to do, but I got to talk about our friends at Visit Lauderdale. I'm going to see Nikki Mohan tonight. We're going to a grand opening of a new restaurant called Willie T's Seafood Shack. It's down in that Cordova complex there.
I saw some reviews of it. Some people, I guess they've been open, but this is their official. But
it's their official.
Very favorable. Very favorable.
Yeah, it's been open, I'd say, about 4 or 5 months.
Now, is that the same Willie T that had the barbecue joint?
No, this is actually Willie T is a I don't know if there is a Willie T. It's owned by this Warren Thompson. It's that Warren Thompson is a very successful restaurateur businessman that was originally based up in the Washington, D.C. area. He has a bunch of different concepts, including that Matchbox restaurant that's out at Sawgrass, and they recently opened downtown Fort Lauderdale, along with the Big Buns burger chain. And he recently partnered up with Mike Linder, who is a local restaurateur, and they partnered to buy Canyon Restaurant last year from the original ownership. Canyon, of course, moved, but this Warren Thompson opened this seafood. It's kind of like a casual that you have the fried platters of different seafood. It's kind of in a location that's in that same plaza that our friends at Gilbert's 17th Street Grill, the burger place, is there. And, across the way a little bit further north on the other side of Cordova Road is Southport Raw Bar and Kelly's Landing. So there's already a good a seafood presence down there. But, again, it's funny how these restaurants tend to cluster together, that some people that offer the same style, just the same way Greek Isles is, Thassos is around the corner. Same thing with this. There's a bunch of seafood places in that general vicinity. So anyway, I'm looking forward to checking out this Willie T's Seafood with, we're going to meet Warren. I want to try to meet with Warren Thompson and be able to do a show out there, and maybe with him one of these days with Nikki, because we're always thinking about the Visit Lauderdale and how we could highlight the different diversity in the area. And of course, Warren Thompson is a successful businessman, but he also happens to be African American black. So we like to spotlight all the the good, successful people out there of all backgrounds, and that's what Greater Fort Lauderdale is all about. We're welcoming everybody under the sun, and that means all you foodies out there, culinary explorers, cocktail connoisseurs, craft beer aficionados. Come one, come all. Get ready to savor every flavor and every moment, from the dockside dining with breathtaking views along the Intracoastal and the Atlantic beachfront, along with the lively cafes on Los Olas Boulevard, to award-winning chefs like our very own Timon Balloo at the Catherine, where Lubie and Shirley are going to be descending upon this weekend. A world-class culinary scene awaits. I might be going there for brunch this Sunday, too. I'm very excited to check that out. So come stay and play in Greater Fort Lauderdale and check out more than 4,000 area restaurants, along with all the nice breweries on the Visit Lauderdale Ale Trail, the rooftops and the speakeasies, etc. It's a never-ending culinary and libation celebration in Greater Fort Lauderdale. Everyone's invited. So for the latest events and promotions and details, go to visitlauderdale.com. Whew. Defo, what do you think?
I don't know. I mean, you've been going for a while there, and we had the commercial-free talk sweep. I mean, the talk-free commercial sweep.
Did we do all three? Did we get everybody in?
I hope you got everybody in there, Mike Mayo. I mean,
I think we did.
What happened to Zagat ratings, by the way? Are they still of any
Wasn't that the
consequence?
thing? That was the thing.
Zagat
Right?
used to be the thing, and I liked them because it was kind of like that crowdsourcing, but with a little bit of curation, and so you could throw out the people that were obviously fakes and cranks and competitors. But the Zagat guide, everybody would send in their little cards.
Used
with
to be
their
very,
score.
considerable, right?
I actually have a stack of them here from 2000, and it's funny looking at the top-rated places in Miami. Most of them are all gone except for Joe Stonecrab, and that's about it. But no, anyway, that was a good show today. We thank
Guy's a great guy, man. Well deserved awards. I don't imagine they'll be packed, right? I'll never forget when I was working at the Dharma Grab restaurant on Sunset Boulevard in L.A., which became an extremely popular spot. It was kind of quiet opening that they had going, and they were open for a couple of weeks.
Right?
And everybody was waiting for it was really like the Broadway reviews. Everybody was waiting for Elmer Dills of the LA Times Review, and he wrote an extremely favorable review. And from that day on, the place was slammed any night of the week. It was
Once
unbelievable.
upon a time, critics had big power. But now, actually with the Let's Eat group, it's become crowdsourced, and there are certain people that that you like their tastes, and you could follow certain people, and then there's me, I guess, because I.
Some people are following you now, and I'm hoping they don't follow you to Gulfstream. I really am.
Please.
Well, it's on the record today, so we'll have plenty of
an ugly confrontation when you're on a show. Where the guy can't wait to start yelling at you that he doesn't care for your work. Let's put it that way.
And it wasn't even me. It would be one thing if I actually did something that
you got to take the hit, though. You're the man. You're the face behind this thing.
Yeah, that's
the way it goes. All right, good job there, Mike Mayo.
Tomorrow we're going to be at Shenanigans with our friend Pat Utter, and Dave Hyde's going to call into the show tomorrow because Pat loves to talk Dolphins and sports, and so does Hyde. I invited Hyde up, but I guess he's not that hard pressed for a free lunch after the success of the Swagger book. But Dave will call into tomorrow's show with Pat Utter. I don't know. You're going to make the trek? The tunnel is open.
I might. You know what? I love Shenanigans, and I'm a big Pat Utter fan.
Yeah,
and I always
Pat would love to see you.
Yeah. Be nice. Yeah.
So that's tomorrow's show at Shenanigans, now the one and only location, 1300 South Federal Highway in Dania Beach. I had a burger there I stopped in Sunday for the first game. I had a delicious burger. They are actually, really got their stuff together there in the kitchen when you get some of those good bar food items, the wings and the burgers. And then Thursday, we'll be out with our man Brian at Wicked Cheesesteaks. I can't wait to sample some of the new offerings if he's got that roast pork sandwich just in time for the Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl. We'll see if he's got the new Philadelphia items on his cheesesteak menu because his wife's a Philly gal and he's a Maine maniac guy. So therefore, you got lobster rolls and cheesesteaks. We love Wicked Cheesesteaks. And of course, Friday, we'll be back at Gulfstream. I'll be the one wearing a helmet and a bulletproof vest.
God.
All right, that'll do.
You should be wearing a disguise, man. I mean,
We shall see. Okay, that's going to do for today. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and again, thanks to Tim and Balloo of the Catherine. Go check it out there on Broward Boulevard, just east of Federal Highway. And that's it for today on the Lunchbox. And a happy belated birthday, 90th birthday to my mom,
So happy
B.
birthday.
Mayo. Yesterday, with no show, it left more time for celebrating. We had a fantastic at-home celebration.
Nice.
Mom's 90th. She loves strawberry shortcake, and we had a really, really good one from Publix. They do some things really well.
I like their
baking,
cakes.
baking cakes is one of the things that Publix does great. So happy belated 90th, Mom. I'm not going to say 90 more, but I'll say Centani. I think definitely you got a bunch more years to come. So
Make the century mark. I believe she hits 100.
Yeah,
Oh, for sure.
She's got class and
There you
she's
go.
got strength. She is yes, one of the toughest people, and I love her so much. All right, that's it for today. We've gone way over. Good luck at the doctors today, Defo, and
Oh, yeah.
maybe
Gonna head right over there.
good luck with everything.
Should be fine. I've been doing my 4 miles the last several
No, you're
days.
good. You're
Pretty much
You'll be all right.
pain free. So it's good.
better than me. I think I only did 2.5 this morning because
That's not bad.
is
Yeah.
after me. Tomorrow, Dick's team, we're going to have the Best of Del Rey, another cocktail party at the OG bar. That's going to be tomorrow night. Sign up.
Wednesday.
Yeah, give your RSVP. Eventbrite.com. Just search for Best of Del Rey or OG bar. That's tomorrow night, 5 p.m. But I'll hype that more tomorrow. All right, that's it for today. Thank you so much to everybody involved. Enjoy every sandwich.